So I came across this. Courage is contagious. Kamala Harris urges Americans to keep organizing against Trump. And don't get me wrong, as you well know, I like a beer now and again. But seriously, under fair use, let me play you some of this.
Instead of an administration working to advance America's highest ideals,
Anyway.
we are witnessing the wholesale abandonment of those ideals.
You never been at a wedding or something where you've thought, hey, listen, I think we need to take Auntie off somewhere, you know, Auntie, whoever, hey, let me take you through to, are you, here, let me sit you down, you know, it's like, can I get you something to eat? You know, it's, honestly, I go back yet again to the 80s, the late 80s, and my experiences in places like Argyll, and while working in bar between, you know, doing courses and having some phenomenal experiences with, well, you know, if you're, and remember, you weren't distracted by phones or online anything. You had none of that, right? So you're behind the bar, cleaning glasses, and if it was quiet, checking all the optics, blah, 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 polishing, whatever, out of the tables, make sure everything's clean, blah, blah, blah. You have some pride in what you're presenting, yeah? And whether it's one individual or many, the conversation. Do they want to talk? Do they not want to talk? Oh, hi, how you doing, Huey? Blah, blah, blah. How's things going? How's the wife? Whatever. Phenomenal, great conversations, characters, without a beer, having a few beers, everything else in between. You learn an awful lot about human nature, and I can promise you, anybody that's been involved with any experience at all in the bar trade or, you know, life.
And what we are also seeing.
And then the next thing, we're on to God here, you know. It's the religious, and of course the black and the white, you know, the Masonic, and there's an awful lot of mockery in here. But I would say her tipple is white wine. I could be completely wrong here, but I suspect, because remember, there's the mythology of that white wine somehow burns calories or is less calorific, or, you know, whatever the fuck. But it's the brain you should be more concerned about as it gets slowly pickled over time.
In these last 14 weeks, is Americans using their voice and showing their courage.
I mean, in between all that, you've got to try and work out what the fuck is she actually saying. But, you know, and they keep throwing the term word salad in her direction, and I would say that's being generous, because I would say that what the fuck is she saying? Word salad. Hey, no, what the fuck is she saying? It's like, yeah, none of it makes any sense. Word salad is being disingenuous. It's almost like some sort of protection mechanism. You know, that, look, it's not as bad as you think. It's just word salad. No, it's just the incoherent ramblings of somebody that's, well, I don't, as I said in the comment, is she ever sober? Seriously. Let's play on.
We all know President Trump and his administration and their allies are counting on the notion that fear can be contagious. They are counting on the notion that if they make some people afraid, it will have a chilling effect on others.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I get it. Look, there is a hell of a lot of pressure, especially for some people, about even chatting, and especially in front of an audience. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Be assured of that. At times when I was doing bar in the late 80s, I was, I'd have half a pint, another half pint, because I could legitimately get away with it at the time. But you ultimately realise that, nah, it's not great. If there is that much pressure for you based around where you are, and that you are more comfortable having a few beers, blah, 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 and you can see that in her. But I think it's about white wine. But listen, I could be wrong. And even as I'm saying this, you're probably saying, hey, Scott, have you had a couple of beers? Yeah, well, we used to have this thing called pubs, and people used to converse with each other, and the day-to-day and life, it was very much part of life, pubs and all the rest of it. But this is not your day job, If you're having to do this to do your day job. Yep, that's why I got out of pubs. Because I knew even then that, well, you were everything. You were a psychologist, sociologist, fucking therapist of X, Y, and Z. And to an extent, that was really good. And you really enjoyed it, the interactions with so many people. But the downside was what they were drinking. Seriously. The chemical lagers, how many people would get aggressive after a few of them? And you're just trying to get things done, Then over time, I realised, actually, look at these people drinking the real ales. They don't seem to be much of an issue, and quite jovial, and, people you'd like to be around by and large. Well, to a point. I mean, it's got fucked up in the last 20 years, I would say, but too many bearded. Well, look, I'm not anti-beard, but this pish about wisdom based on fucking facial hair growth, you can fuck off with that, actually. It's just, I can't relate to it for so many good reasons. People I've met right throughout my life, and believe me, it's funny. To this day, I speak to people who are of similar ages to myself, who are pretty clued up themselves. And they go, you know what? No matter how shite you thought your life was at the time, well, you look back and you're like, holy shit, I was fucking lucky. Seriously. I mean, you look at this. Even the way this changes colour here, glows in different, and honestly, it's another example, and I see it in cars more and more. 50 different light colour combinations is, glowing away in your car. Remember, think about it, at night as well. All you want to fucking do is see ahead of you as best as you can, but no, we've got such short attention spans. Yeah, we'll have these like a fucking disco in the damn car. But hey, meanwhile, and this.
But what they're overlooking...
See what I mean? Keeps changing colour. Be distracted. It just deflects enough for most people to sort of not notice that, well, I'd say she's had a few.
They have overlooked is that fear is not the only thing that's contagious. Courage is contagious. The courage of Americans who are banding together in the face of the greatest man-made economic crisis in modern presidential history. some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos.
I still keep saying lately, it's like Atlas Shrugged, but anyway, among other things, but you know.
And of course I understand why. And it's certainly true of those tariffs. Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
A recession.
Clearly inviting a recession.
Yep, she's had a few. Or am I being harsh? I don't think so. I'll repeat, that was my comment 15 hours ago. Is she ever sober? 17 so far. Yeah, I don't think I'm on my own here. Just be more aware of things like this, honestly. In amongst the madness. And I'll repeat, did you work out anything of what she was saying there? Yep. Yeah. Your thoughts?